Folks, in today's video, we are going to break down the top 5 stocks to buy non-stop in June 2025. Now, this is all my opinion and I could be wrong, but I am going to present an extremely detailed case for each of the stocks on this lovely list and let you be the judge. Each of the stocks on this list has number 1, exponential momentum in their business and the overall industry they are in. Number 2, a proven track record. Number 3, real proof of concept. And number 4, momentum on the chart. I believe each of the stocks on this list, while volatile, are setting up for generational runs. And if you appreciate all the work that goes into making a video like this, the only thing I ask in return is that you hit that like button and also don't forget to subscribe. When you do those things, YouTube goes and pushes the video out to more folks, and it helps us out tremendously, so I appreciate it. And as always, if you're the one taking the ultimate risk, you got to be the one doing the ultimate frisk. Always do your own due diligence on all ideas presented. So the trend that we are currently seeing with AI is the following. For starters, it's rapidly spreading faster than anything we've seen before. It's massively boosting efficiency, profits, and company valuations. And for businesses right now, AI isn't optional, it's survival. And so right now, the way that I see it is that we are in a world where people are sleeping on the opportunity of a century. Think about it. The people that got super duper rich in the last couple of decades were the folks that bet on internet stocks, the folks that bet on technological advances with the computer, the folks that bet on the computer, the folks that bet on all these emerging softwares over the last 3-4 decades. But now the next wave is artificial intelligence, and it looks as though this wave is going to come on much faster than the others. AI is going to accelerate nearly every business just like the internet and the computer did, and it's going to leave every business that doesn't adapt in the dust, begging for scraps. However, because we are still at the beginning phases, well, you got to focus on buying companies that are specifically working on the transformation of getting us into this new world. What are those types of companies? Well, the main ones are number 1, data center, cloud computing companies. Number 2, chip, overall hardware companies. And 3, software makers. Now, the tide of demand for these categories is going to be so extreme, so vast, that any company that can serve these segments reasonably well, just reasonably well, is going to go absolutely parabolic in my view. And I think it's pretty obvious if you look at all the research out there and all the trends and what has happened during previous euphoria cycles when a new technology comes out and every single person needs to adapt or die. Companies that are able to service that demand, they get huge amounts of profito. Okay, with that being said, now it's time to get into the top 5 stocks to buy non-stop in June 2025. You got to start with QUBT for Quantum Computing Inc. Now, as you know, we've been talking a lot about this sucker recently, and the reason is because not only is the company showing real proof of concept with their tech, but the stock itself is brewing beautiful momentum back towards its all-time highs. Now, I predicted in the last video that this stock would continue to climb from the $13.74 price we alerted it at on that video, and this morning it hit highs at $20.96. Pretty nice. And if you look at our alerted calls that we sent to our Discord members, well, on June 5th, I alerted calls at approximately $1.91, and as of this morning, they hit about $7.20 at highs. Again, pretty insane runs, and don't expect these to be everyday typical results. This is a hot bull market that we're in, and this is a top winner. And look, with options specifically, you can lose all your moolah if you're wrong, so you got to know what you're doing. But anyways, if you do want to join us in the Discord for all future alerts, click that first link down below. But anyways, Quantum Computing Inc. is one of the few pure play public companies focused on quantum hardware and photonic computing, a field poised to disrupt cybersecurity, AI, and logistics. Their proprietary photonic chips, which use light instead of electrons, offer faster processing with lower power consumption than traditional systems. The company recently completed its own chip fabrication facility in Arizona, giving it vertical control over development and production. QUBT has formed partnerships with major government agencies like NASA and Los Alamos National Lab, which validate the relevance and potential of its tech. Inclusion in both the Russell 2000 and 3000 indexes is set to increase institutional visibility and demand, and the stock has recently seen a massive surge in trading volume, signaling rising retail and institutional interest. As quantum computing enters a decade of real-world deployment, early players with advanced infrastructure stand to benefit disproportionately. QUBT, despite its small cap volatility, is positioned at the frontier of this technological transformation, and with an in-demand industry momentum on the chart and proof of concept, I'd argue this one's got a beautiful long-term trajectory. Now, you got to understand, though, just in advance, what happens with these types of plays. Everybody loves them when they're going up. They think, oh, this is just such an easy buy, Charlie. You were right, but it was just so easy. Everybody's a genius. And then when you get into the next bear market and we're like, yeah, this is an even better deal, people are like, no, that company's a scam. And then the market goes back up, and then guess what they're saying again? So the way that I look at it is that the best way to play a long-term conviction play is to look at the bigger picture view. I like to look at a stock and I like to think, okay, what's the stock going to do over the next 6 to 12 months based on the current price point it's at? In the context of the overall bigger picture. If something's trading at, say, $5 today, I think it's going to go to $20 in 3 years, and it's at $5 today, well, I'm excited about it. If it's at $15 today, well, I'm a little bit less excited. I'm still excited. If it's at $80 today, well, not so excited, right? So understand the context with every single position that you're going to take. Okay, number 4, RGTI. So this is another beautiful quantum play that we've been talking about a lot quite recently, and this morning I sent this option alert to the Discord, alerting 12 strike calls expiring September 19th, 2025. Notice, by the way, how we create a huge case so that people can actually learn from our alerts and not just blindly copy them. We don't want anybody copying. We want them learning from the alerts. Anyways, I alerted these in the pre-market. They opened at $2.10 and they ran to $3.70 and then sold off. Now, here's the thing. I believe we're heading for a quantum summer. That means if you're playing quantum plays, you don't want to be caught up in the day-to-day flows. The green days are green, the red days are red, but the bigger picture is I see an overall trend as we head into this quantum summer. I think these calls that we alerted have substantially more upside in the next 2 months. And likewise for regular investors that are just looking to buy shares, well, the bigger picture is that with solid quantum stocks that don't have BS claims about quantum technology, well, those are going to do well over the coming months. But the ones that are BS, I think they're going to be weeded out real fast. And so make sure you keep that in mind. 3, Applied Digital, APLD. Applied Digital started life in the crypto world, previously known as Applied Blockchain, hosting Bitcoin mining rigs, but when the crypto craze cooled, APLD smartly and aggressively pivoted to the next big thing, AI. Now they focus on 2 main business segments. Number 1, next-gen data center co-location services, basically renting out space / power in their facilities to clients who bring their own hardware, and 2, AI cloud services, providing access to GPU hardware as a cloud service. In simple words, APLD is like a digital landlord for AI. They build the homes, aka the data centers where advanced computers live, and AI companies pay them rent to house and power those machines. They construct these massive specialized facilities equipped to handle AI workloads at scale, and they rent out this AI-specific computing capacity, again, to everybody from big tech players, cloud giants, and AI startups, often locking them into long-term lucrative deals. And we love lucrative at ZipTrader. Recently, Applied Digital inked major deals with CoreWeave, an NVIDIA-backed AI powerhouse, locking in billions upon billions of dollars in guaranteed revenue over the next decade. Okay, earlier this year, we alerted $10 strike calls expiring July 18th, 2025, and they were trading at around $1.10, and at highs a few days ago, they went up to $5.90, and then APLD has cooled off since, and as they are getting closer to expiration, the decay on these calls are going to set in faster and faster because that's how call options work. So if you're someone who hasn't locked in profits and are betting on more momentum through summer, I'd look out at slightly higher strike calls dating out to, say, October or November. That gives APLD some time to cool off and then let the stock take a breath and then start heading right back up. Don't be in a rush to play the next wave on this. Again, this can cool off for a little bit longer and can definitely be a more substantial cool down period, and that's fine because we know that's how the game is played with these stocks. Okay, number 2, AVGO Broadcom. Now, Broadcom, of course, designs semiconductors and enterprise software used in data centers, networking, broadband storage, and smartphones. It recently acquired VMware, expanding its reach into high-margin infrastructure software for large enterprises. And the reason that we like this one so much is because AVGO is now a major player in the AI boom, providing custom AI chips for hyperscalers like Google and Meta. Their AI chip revenue is growing fast, expected to surpass $5 billion per quarter soon, adding a new growth engine. Broadcom generates massive free cash flow, funds big buybacks, pays a growing dividend, and still has plenty of dry powder. With strong demand, diversified revenue, and red-hot AI tailwinds, I think AVGO is set to print and looks like a long-term winner. So let's talk about options here. So for the last rally, we alerted AVGO calls, and they went from approximately $1.32 on April 16th to $26 at highs. Now, The next wave I see coming is likely to be smaller because this one you had the tariff fear rebound for, which helped a lot, but that's already largely behind us. So the next wave I think is going to be a bit more steady, but still I do see substantial upside here. And of course, over the long run, extreme upside. Do you see the overall trend this summer being hot for AVGO? And so I'm looking at 280 calls expiring out in October. The thing is that right now, all that fear that people are saying like, oh, all this chip buying, all the demand that people are projecting on chips, that's all hype and it's going to go away and it's all BS. But guess what? We're seeing with recent reports from NVIDIA and others that wasn't hype. Chip demand is way higher than anybody thought possible, and there's a massive shortage of good chips all across the board. So AVGO, very, very important play. Okay, number one, Palantir. For folks who've been to this channel before, you know I reflect on this all the time, but I have to give you the full context here because you need to know where I'm coming from. Stock is trading at the 130 to 140 range today, but if you are new to this channel, you have to know that for years and years and years, we screamed buy, 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 and the stock barely moved. We made countless videos painstakingly breaking down the due diligence for the stock, the business model, the proof of concept they're showing at helping companies accelerate their bottom lines, and so on and so forth. And basically nothing happened for years. And then all of a sudden, markets woke up to what's going on with this company, and it's at around a 20x since those levels. And people now like to say, oh, Charlie, look at him, he just got lucky. I don't like this idea of, oh, he got lucky, because that tells people that, oh, your due diligence doesn't matter. And then it makes people just go into gambling on stocks. The stock price is emotional and you can exploit that, but again, the due diligence in the long run is what's going to get you ahead. One of my most famous videos about Palantir stock was down here when it was at the biggest lows, and I screamed, look, I know everybody hates the stock now simply because it's down, but the underlying company is doing great. And the reason that I'm mentioning this even today when we're so much higher is because I believe that the trends that people ignored back then at these prices are the same trends that people are ignoring now when they say Palantir is too expensive. Yes, obviously it was an extreme once-in-a-generation opportunity to be able to buy at those levels. And we're not going back there. But at the current prices, we still have an extreme deal if you have a long enough time horizon. Palantir is the secret weapon behind some of the most powerful government and enterprise decision-making systems on the planet. Think next-gen intelligent software meets AI superbrain. They started by helping the US hunt down terrorists. Now they're helping Fortune 500s dominate their industries with real-world AI-powered data platforms. The stock has gone absolutely ballistic this year, sure, and it will have more cool-off cycles and breathing cycles in the future, but if you have any doubt that the stock is going to hit newer and newer higher highs over the coming years, just take 25 minutes, take 45 minutes and look through what this company does on their investor relations page. Look through the trend, type in ZipTrader Palantir and look at years of us covering this stock and dismissing all of the fear mongering about valuations that people have had on the stock forever. Well, the truth is that the clients they have locked in and are scaling, and the technology that they have and the software that they have is so advanced that it's very, very difficult not to have long-term conviction in the stock, in my view. Now, from a call option standpoint, back at the end of March, we alerted 160 strike calls expiring September 19th, 2025, which gave this stock plenty of time to accelerate and reach new all-time highs, and we are ahead of schedule on that, and those calls have done phenomenally well. These calls have more than doubled at highs, but I think by mid-July, these calls are going to peak, and we're going to be ready for the next round of calls reaching out to December or January. Palantir is a play that you got to give time, you got to give it space. It's not something that's going to shoot up right away. It's already done very well. But I think longer term, bigger picture, you're patient, you play the right options, and you buy shares over the long run, I think you're going to do well. Anyways, folks, that caps off today's video. Let us know your favorite plays down below. And also, quick plug, if you'd like to get our daily morning briefings, our options alerts, all alerts, our AI news bot, and our price targets, well, I'll put the link to join our Discord down below. First link, can't miss it. Highly recommend you join us before tomorrow's trading session. Anyways, that caps off today's video. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.